Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. And one last thing, don't forget to be awesome. Yeah, man. Sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about the WWE Elimination Chamber 2022. Now, man, with this show, man, it was a waste of time, bro. It was a waste of time. Now, going into the chamber, I said this in my prediction video. Man. Going into the chamber, I really did not care about it. Really didn't care about the matches and all that. The only match that I did care about on the show was the Elimination Chamber match, and that's how it was tonight. And also with the Elimination Chamber, it was very predictable, man. In all these matches, it was very predictable. But yeah, man. It was a complete waste of time, bro. It was a complete waste of time. Like it's just I don't know what to say about it. But yeah, with the men's chamber match, even though it was the best thing on the show, I didn't like how Brock Lesnar squashed Rollins, Riddle, and AJ Styles. I didn't like that at all, man. Like as soon as he came in, he just gave them F5s. He gave them F5s and he eliminated them. And so yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like, man. That's the one thing I didn't like. And another thing I didn't like was the fact that Bobby Lashley was taken out of the chamber match because of some concussion, quote unquote concussion. And so yeah, so he was taken out, and so the commentary team has said that Bobby Lashley has been taken away from the match. Yeah, as I was thinking like, what if they planned this? What if this is not a legit injury? Because I ain't know if it was real or I ain't know if it was kayfabe or a shoot. And so yeah, man. But with Lashley getting taken out, I think he's gonna get his rematch because he was never pinned. So he might get a rematch at WrestleMania between Brock and Lashley on night 1 and for the WWE Championship, and Brock Lesnar is going to retain his championship, and then on night 2 he can go after Roman Reigns in the Universal Championship, title for title. So yeah, that's where I'm thinking is going. But yeah, that was it with the chamber, dude. That was it with the chamber. The men's chamber match was the only thing that was good. The only thing that I cared about on the show. But yeah, man. But yeah, overall show, man, it was a waste of time. Parts of it just felt boring. At parts of the show, it just felt boring. But yeah, man. But yeah, that was it with the Elimination Chamber, dude. That was it with the Elimination Chamber 2022. And so yeah, man. So this is the Elimination Chamber 2022 review on the Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, I say this all the time in the intro: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, man, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because I'm here each and every single week, man. And so so we were live in Jeddah, in the Jeddah Superdome in Saudi Arabia. And so yeah, I didn't watch the kickoff show, but we did have one match on the kickoff show, and it was Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. And Rey Mysterio beat The Miz, so Rey Mysterio beats The Miz. And so yeah, so The Miz tried to get Dominik thrown out of there, and Miz had act like he got hit by a chair by Dominik. And so yeah, Rey Mysterio ended up winning the match anyways. And so right after the match, the Miz he attacked Rey Mysterio, and then Dominik took out the Miz, and then the Mysterios they hit a double 619 to the Miz, and they both hit their frog splashes to the Miz, and that was pretty much it with that. And that was it with the pre-show. And so yeah, so to start off the show was the WWE Universal Championship match, and it was Goldberg versus the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, who is the Universal Champion, with Paul Heyman in his corner. And yeah, man, this is a smart move, man. Smart move to have this match start off the show. The sooner the better, man. The sooner the better. I did not want to see this in the main event. And so yeah, so I'm glad they put this match on first. And so yeah, man. So yeah, the crowd they were into this match. The crowd was loud. But yeah, both of these guys they were fighting outside of the ring, and then Goldberg he had speared Reigns, and so I was like, oh no, I was like, no, no, please do not have this guy beat Reigns. And so Goldberg tried to go for the jackhammer, but Reigns had hit a Uranagi to Goldberg, and then Goldberg had kicked out, and then Reigns had hit a Superman punch to Goldberg, and so Reigns tried to go for the spear, but Goldberg had speared Reigns, and so Goldberg tried to go for the jackhammer again. But this time Roman Reigns he had locked in the guillotine choke, and he had it on for a while too. And Goldberg tried to fight out of it, but he couldn't. So Goldberg passed out. So therefore Roman Reigns wins the match and is still the WWE Universal Champion. And I was like, God, thank God, man. That was the right move by having Reigns retain his championship. I'm glad they had him retain his championship. But yeah, and that was it with the Universal title match. In our next match, we had the Women's Elimination Chamber match. And the winner of this match, the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber match, will be the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And so, yeah, so of course, the women, they were all covered up because in Saudi Arabia, in their country, in Saudi Arabia, the women are not allowed to show off too much skin. So that's why they had coverings on. So yeah, so we had Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Rhea Ripley versus Nikki A.S.H versus Liv Morgan versus Alexa Bliss. And so yeah, so Alexa Bliss she had a swing in her pod. And so yeah, so Liv and Nikki they started off the match, and so they were going back and forth. Our next entrant was Doudrop, and so Nikki A.S.H she wanted them to work together with Doudrop, but Doudrop had took out Nikki, and then Doudrop had slammed Liv on a pad, and she followed up with a running senton bomb to Liv. And so our next person that came out was Rhea Ripley. And so Ripley, she went right after Nikki. And Nikki, she tried to run away by climbing up the chamber. But Ripley, she had knocked her down. And so, yeah, so we had Rhea Ripley. She had hit her finishing move, the Riptide, to Nikki to be eliminated. So Nikki A.S.H is eliminated. And so our next entrant was Alexa Bliss. And of course, we already knew that. We already knew that because Bianca Belair she earned her way to come out last. So yeah, they could have just let her out instead of doing this, having a camera show over the chamber pod. And so yeah, so Bliss had took out everyone. Liv Morgan she had a sunset flip powerbomb to Doudrop to eliminate Doudrop. So Doudrop is eliminated. And so our final entrant, of course, was Bianca Belair. She took out Bliss. And so at one point, Bianca she had held up Liv Morgan with one arm, and then she threw her back into the ring. And so Bianca and Ripley, they were standing face to face. And we had a double vertical suplex from Ripley and Bianca to Liv and Bliss. And so, yeah, so Ripley, she had slapped Bianca Belair right in her face. And so, yeah, both of these ladies, they were trading slaps and they were trading strikes too. And so we had double knees to Ripley and Bianca from Liv Morgan. And so Alexa Bliss, she had hit a blockbuster to Liv. And so Bliss had hit her finishing move, the Twisted Bliss, to Liv Morgan to eliminate Liv Morgan. So Liv Morgan is eliminated. And so yeah, so at one point Alexa Bliss she tried to go for the DDT on Rhea Ripley, but Bianca Belair had gave Bliss a clothesline, so Rhea Ripley still took a DDT from Bliss. And so yeah, and so Ripley was stunned, and so Bianca Belair she had hit a finishing move, the KOD to Ripley to eliminate Rhea Ripley. So therefore Rhea Ripley is eliminated. And so yeah, so we had the code red to Bianca from Bliss. And so Bianca, she had slammed Alexa Bliss into the chains, the chamber chains, or just the chains. And so yeah, so Bianca tried to go for the 450 splash, but she missed. And so yeah, we had a handstand moonsault attempt to Bliss. And so the commentary team said that she got her knees up, but she barely got her knees up. She really didn't get her knees up, but the commentary team said that she put her knees up. And Bianca Belair still sold it. And so yeah, Alexa Bliss, she kept rolling up Bianca, and so Bianca kept kicking out. And so yeah, so to end the match, we had Bianca Belair. She had hit a finishing move, the KOD, to Bliss to win the match. So therefore, Bianca Belair wins the match and is the #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. And so yeah, I was actually shocked, man. I was actually shocked that Alexa Bliss didn't win. But yeah, I did go with Bianca Belair to win the match, but I thought that WWE was gonna go with Alexa Bliss to win the match. But yeah, Bianca Belair was the right winner. She was the right winner. She's the only person in this match that's been consistent. The only person that's been consistent. The only person in this match that been getting wins. So yeah, that's why that was the right move. And so yeah, even though it's a rematch between her and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, who else in that match could stand a chance against Becky Lynch? Nobody. So that's why they went with Bianca Belair. But yeah, man, the right outcome, the right outcome. But yeah, the match was okay. The Elimination Chamber match for the women, it was okay. It was okay. But yeah, that was it with the women's Elimination Chamber match. And so our next match, we had a tag team match, and it was from the women. So we had Charlotte Flair, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Sonya Deville versus Naomi and Ronda Rousey. And so yeah, so once again, the ladies, they have to cover up because they're in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, Rousey, she had to compete with one arm tied behind her back, of course, because that was the stipulation when she signed that contract. And so yeah, so Rousey, she was wearing a judo suit too. She was wearing a judo suit. And so yeah, so Sonya Deville, of course, she had an arm sling too. She had an arm sling, and she took off the arm sling, so she was faking it the entire time. And so, which we already knew. But yeah, we had Rousey. She had a step up knee strike to Sonya, and so Naomi and Sonya, they were going back and forth. And then Rousey, she started hitting judo throws to Sonya, and then Charlotte, the illegal person, came in and blindsided Ronda Rousey. And so the heels had to control the match at that point. And then we had a hot tag to Naomi. She took out Charlotte and Sonya. And then we had a over the top rope corkscrew to Charlotte from Naomi, followed by a diving crossbody to Flair, and she kicked out. Charlotte had hit the powerbomb to Naomi, and then Naomi had kicked out of the move. And so we had a running knee to Naomi from Sonya, and Naomi kicked out. And then we had a hot tag to Rousey. Ronda, she had hit the Piper's Pit to Sonya. And so to end the match, we had Ronda Rousey. She had locked in her submission move, the armbar, to Sonya Deville to win the match. So Sonya taps out. So therefore, Ronda Rousey and Naomi wins the match, and that was it with that. I questioned this too. I questioned this in my prediction video. Why did this match have to be a tag team match? And why was this match on a show? Like why? But yeah, that was it, man. That was it with that. And our next match, we had a Falls Count Anywhere match. Falls Count Anywhere match. We had Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin in his corner versus Drew McIntyre. And so yeah, man. So Corbin and Moss, they ganged up on Drew McIntyre because it's a no disqualification, so you could do anything you want. And so McIntyre, he started fighting back, and then McIntyre, he had chased Corbin away. And so we had a double suplex to McIntyre on the stage ramp, and we had a follow-away slam to McIntyre from Moss on the stage ramp, and he kicked out. And so yeah, this spot right here, man, this was crazy right here, man. This was a scary spot in this match. So yeah, we had Drew McIntyre. He had a reverse Alabama slam to Moss, but Moss, he had landed right on top of his head, man, on the top of his head, in the middle of the ring. And I was like, man, how the hell he get up after that? Cause he got back up after that, man. Dude, that could take out anybody. You never want to land head first. You never want to land head first on the ring mat, never. But he got up after that, man. He was moving around normally. He was still stunned, but he was still running around. He was still running around, taking more bumps. So you gotta give props to Madcap Moss on that one, man. Even though I haven't been a fan of this feud and his terrible jokes and all that stuff and Happy Corbin and all that stuff, man, you gotta give him props, man, for getting back up and finishing that match. But yeah, man, but Corbin had pulled Moss out of the ring. And so yeah, man, we had an overhead belly to belly suplex to Moss over the announce table. And then Corbin, he had hit McIntyre with a chair in the back. And so Corbin and Moss had threw McIntyre through the barricade. And so we had a superplex to Moss, and he kicked out. Superplex is my favorite move, man. One day I would love to hit the superplex, man, when I get the opportunity to. In one of my matches one day. I hope they hit this the superplex. I hit a suplex, but not a superplex. But yeah, man. But yeah, both of these guys they're going back and forth with strikes, and then McIntyre had hit the Future Shock DDT to Moss, and so yeah, so Drew McIntyre at one point he had grabbed Angela the sword, and he almost cut Baron Corbin's head off, but Corbin had dodged it and got out of the ring. And so to end the match, we had Drew McIntyre. He had his finishing move, the Claymore kick, with Angela the sword in his hand to win the match. So he gave him a Claymore kick while he was holding up the sword, and that was it, man. So Drew McIntyre wins the match. And yeah, this match wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I wish they would have did. I wish they would have went into the back and fought in the back, or go outside the arena and fight. That's what I wish they did, but they didn't do that. It probably would have the match probably would have been better. The match probably would have been better if they would have went in the back or outside the arena. But yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it. This match wasn't really bad. But yeah, man, but it would have been a lot better if they would have went to the back or outside the arena. But yeah, man, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Kevin Patrick. He was backstage and he interviews The Miz.
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Oh yeah, legendary Rey Mysterio cheated his way to a victory with the help of his son Dominik. I was outnumbered out there. It was a 2-on-1 handicap match and everybody was cheering. But don't you worry, I'll find a way to even the odds. I will find myself a tag team partner. A partner who is a superlative athlete, similar handsome features, a global superstar. And I think I have someone in mind. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go make a phone call.
And that was it, man. That was it with that. Now, I made a joke. I made a joke to myself. I made a joke saying, what if it was Cody Rhodes that Miz was talking about, giving a phone call to? It was a joke, but Cody Rhodes. To be honest, though, Cody Rhodes he does have history with Rey Mysterio. He does have history with Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio broke his nose. You guys remember that when Cody Rhodes had wore that mask, that clear mask, and he was handing out paper bags to the crowd. Like you remember that version of Cody Rhodes. But yeah, man, and of course they had a WrestleMania match too. But yeah, it was something. It was something that I thought about. What if it was Cody Rhodes? But yeah, Cody Rhodes, he's not gonna come back to team up with the Miz. He's not gonna come back and be a tag team wrestler. He's gonna come back and he's gonna be if he comes back. If he comes back, I don't think he will come back. I don't think he should come back to the WWE. But if he does come back, then you need to push him to the top. But is he? Is he gonna get pushed to the top if he comes back? No, he's not. But yeah, I digress, man. But yeah, that was it with that, man. I don't know who is it that he's gonna call. I don't know. I heard Logan Paul. I don't want to see Logan Paul again, man, on a wrestling show ever again. Like stick to boxing, bro, or YouTube, whatever the hell he does. But yeah, no more Logan Paul, man. Not a fan. But yeah, man, that was it with that, man. And so right after that, we had the Raw Women's Championship match, and it was Lita versus Becky Lynch, who was the Raw Women's Champion. So yeah, man. So yeah, both of these ladies they were going back and forth. And so yeah, during the match, man, we had Becky Lynch. You heard her. You heard her call spots in the match, and you never want to hear that. You never want the audience to hear the wrestler call a match. But yeah, man, you heard her like 3 times call a spot in the match. But yeah, Becky she had to control the match, and then she had Bexploders to Lita, and then Lita had countered I think the third Bexploder suplex with a DDT, and then Lita at that point she started to fight back. She had a diving crossbody to Becky, and so yeah, so the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." No, it wasn't. It was not. But yeah, man. So at one point we had Becky try to use the ropes for extra leverage, but Lita had kicked out. And so yeah, so Becky at one point she sat down, she got in position for Lita to go and lock in that sleeper hold, and the timing of it was off. It was off. The timing was off. But yeah, man, we had a sleeper hold to Becky, and then we had a snapware driver, a snapware driver to Becky, and she kicked out. And so Lita had locked in, or Becky had locked in to disarm her to Lita. And so Becky, she had hit the manhandle slam to Lita, but Lita had put her foot on the rope. And so Becky, she tried to go for a moonsault. She tried to take a page out of Lita's book with the moonsault, but Becky had missed it. And so Lita had hit the twist of fate to Becky, followed up by a Lita salt to Becky, and Becky had kicked out. And so to end the match, we had Becky Lynch. She had her finishing move, the manhandle slam to Lita to win the match. So therefore, Becky Lynch wins the match and is still the Raw Women's Champion and will defend the Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair, who won the Women's Elimination Chamber match earlier. And so yeah, so right after the match, Lita, she had a standing ovation, and so that was it with that. Lita in the match, she didn't look completely bad. There were parts that she did look bad at, but she didn't look completely bad. Like it looked like she was out of it, man. Not completely out of it, but it looked like parts where she was out of it, like that she couldn't keep up. She was moving a little slow, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't completely bad. But yeah, there were parts that were bad about it. But yeah, that was it with that. I don't know what Lita's gonna do next. Is she gonna stay an in-ring performer, or she's gonna retire, or what? I don't know. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania to face Bianca Belair. So yeah, man. And so yeah, so right after that, we were supposed to have a tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Viking Raiders versus the Usos. But as the Raiders were making their entrance, we had the Usos. They blindsided the Raiders, the Viking Raiders, during their entrance, and so the Usos, they had suplex Ivar right on top of Eric. So that's a lot of weight, man. A lot of weight crashing down on somebody. And so the referee had called the match off. And so it's a no contest. So yeah, so that was it with that. That was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, was the main event, and it was the men's elimination chamber match for the WWE Championship, and it was the almighty WWE Champion Bobby Lashley versus the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Riddle versus Austin Theory versus Seth freaking Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. And so yeah, man, so yeah, Rollins and Theory, they started off the match. Rollins had hit the sling blade to Theory, and then Theory hit a follow away slam to Rollins, and then Rollins, he had threw Theory into chains. And so yeah, man, so this is one spot. This is the spot that I was confused about, man. So yeah, we had Rollins. Rollins, he had went for the buckle bomb. So yeah, you know how Rollins go for the buckle bomb, or he hits the buckle bomb. He hit the buckle bomb to Austin Theory through Bobby Lashley's pod. So Bobby Lashley's pod is open, and Bobby Lashley, he actually got hurt. So Bobby Lashley got hurt. So yeah, as Theory crashed and burned through Lashley's pod, Theory landed right on top of Lashley, and so that's what hurt Bobby Lashley. And so Lashley was taken out, and so our next entrant was Riddle. He took out Rollins, and so that's when the medical team went to go check on Lashley. Adam Pearce was out there, and Jason Jordan, if you guys remember him, Jason Jordan was out there too. He checked on Bobby Lashley. And so yeah, man, we had an avalanche reverse suplex to Riddle from Rollins. And so yeah, so the medical team had took Lashley out of the chamber match, and so that's when Michael Cole on commentary said that Lashley was taken out of the match due to concussion protocols and all that stuff. And so yeah, so Lashley was taken out of the match. Never pinned, never submitted, but he was taken out of the match. So we were guaranteed a new WWE champion. And so our next entrant was AJ Styles. He took out Riddle and Rollins, and so AJ Styles hit a torture rack powerbomb to Rollins. And so we had an avalanche powerbomb to Rollins and Styles from Theory. And then we had a floating bro to Theory from Riddle. A draping DDT to Rollins and Styles from Riddle. So he's paying homage to his tag team partner, Randy Orton. And so yeah, so the next entrant was supposed to be Bobby Lashley. But of course Lashley was taken out of the match. So Lesnar, he got out of there since he was the last person. So Lashley got out of there. Or Lesnar rather. Lesnar got out of there. And so yeah, so Lesnar, he had kicked the pod open. He had kicked the plexiglass open. He had kicked it open. And so he got out of there. And so Lesnar, he took out everybody, man. Everybody that was moving. He took them out. So Lesnar hit the F5 to Rollins. Rollins got eliminated by Lesnar. And so I was like, what? And so yeah, he got in there, took out everybody, hit an F5 to Rollins, and so he eliminated Rollins. So Seth Rollins is out. And then Lesnar, he hit a F5 to Matt Riddle, and he eliminated Matt Riddle. So Matt Riddle is eliminated. I was like, dude, come on. And then And then he hit an F5 to AJ Styles and he eliminated AJ Styles. And I was like, dude, what the heck is going on around here? And so yeah, man. And then Brock Lesnar threw AJ Styles out of the chamber right after he was already eliminated. So yeah, that's the thing I ain't like about it too, man. Another thing I ain't like about this match was the fact that Lashley got taken out because of some injury. And then Brock Lesnar squashing these guys in 3 minutes, dude. These high level athletes in 3 minutes. So Theory was left with Lesnar, and so Theory he tried running away from Brock Lesnar, and so he ran into the pod. Theory did, and he tried to lock himself in. But Lesnar he had kicked the pod open. He kicked it open, and he dragged Austin Theory out of there. Gave Austin Theory a suplex on the pad. And so yeah, there's a reason why they put those pads on that Elimination Chamber. There's a reason why they put that pad on there, man. Theory, he couldn't do anything else but low blow him, but low blow Lesnar. I would have done the same exact thing, man. If I was Austin Theory, I would have kicked him in his nuts too, or low blowed him too. So Theory hit a DDT to Lesnar, and then Lesnar had kicked out. And so Theory, Brock Lesnar was angry, man. He was pissed off. And so Theory, he had ran away. He had ran away from Lesnar. And so by climbing up the pod, not climbing up the pod. Yeah, he climbed up the chains and then he tried to get on the pod. And so Lesnar, man, Lesnar ran over there and he climbed up that thing fast, man. For a big guy, dude, Brock Lesnar can move, bro. But yeah, he climbed up that thing fast. He caught Theory. And so that's when he went on the top of the pod. They were on the top of the pod. Lesnar hit an F5 to Theory right off of the pod, bro. I don't know how high that thing was, but it was high, man. That was a long fall for Theory. He threw him off of the pod and he landed right on the pad. And another reason why they have pads in the Elimination Chamber. Because if they didn't, man, if they didn't add the pads, Austin Theory would have been it. His career would have ended, man. But yeah, man. And so yeah, so Lesnar got down from there. He got down from the pod, went back into the ring, and he pinned Austin Theory to win the match. So therefore, Brock Lesnar wins the match and is the new WWE champion. And he will fight Roman Reigns for the title. Or he will fight Roman Reigns title for title because of course he won the Royal Rumble, which gave him the right to fight Roman Reigns. And so so it's gonna be title for title. And so yeah, man, very predictable match. I would have loved to see a Matt Riddle or a Seth Rollins or AJ Styles win this match, but they weren't going that way. Like we all knew that Brock Lesnar was gonna win because the match was Brock versus Roman. That was the match, and it's always been the match, man. But yeah, this is a great match though, a great chamber match, man. But I didn't like the fact that Brock Lesnar just took out Styles, Rollins, and Riddle. How he just squashed those three. I didn't like how he just squashed those three like that. Like at least make it competitive, man. We all know he's going over, man. We all know he's going over, but at least make it competitive, man. Like at least give them a fighting chance. But you didn't even do that, man. I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see Matt Riddle mix it up with Brock Lesnar. He didn't even get no offense on Brock Lesnar. No offense. But yeah, man. But at least they could have made it competitive, man. They could have made it competitive. But yeah, man. But yeah, with Lashley getting taken out, man, I think it probably was planned. I think it probably was planned. But yeah, it probably was planned. But yeah, I don't know. I just to me, I really didn't like the fact that he was taken out, like 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 taken out because of some phony injury, man. Because of something like that, getting slammed, somebody else getting slammed through your pod, and you just fall and you fell onto something and you get taken out of the match because of that. They had plenty of people getting got their pods broken into, and they never got taken out of the match. Yeah, I think it was planned. It probably was planned, but this gives Lashley a rematch. This gives Lashley a rematch for the WWE title because he was never pinned. He was never pinned. He never got submitted. So Lashley, he's gonna complain about it. He's gonna get his rematch. Because champions always get their rematch. And yeah, it's gonna be at WrestleMania. And if it's at WrestleMania, I'll put it in the main event. Put it in the main event at night one of WrestleMania. So Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar retains. And on night two, in the main event, of course, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, title for title. And it's gonna be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, title for title. And I still think Roman Reigns should win, but I have a bad feeling that they're gonna give it to Lesnar because Lesnar still haven't gotten his one up on Reigns. But yeah, I don't know, man. Roman Reigns should be the champion of champions. If you want to make this dude into a mega heel, if you want to make Roman Reigns into a mega heel, have him hold both of the titles, bro. If you want to make him the best heel of the century, man, the best heel of the century, have Roman Reigns hold the WWE Championship and the WWE Universal Championship. That's what you call creating a new star, man. Brock don't need the championships. You don't need them, man. Roman Reigns desperately need it, bro. He need it. We've been crying for freaking 5 years. 5 years. We've been crying, man, for a heel turn for Roman Reigns. And right now, man, he's the best thing in the company, man. He's the best thing in the WWE right now. He is carrying this company on his back. And you're gonna ruin it, man. You're gonna ruin it if you don't have him walk out of WrestleMania with both titles. Have Roman Reigns become the champion of all champions. But yeah, this whole timeline of Brock Lesnar and the Royal Rumble match and all that stuff, the hot potato with the WWE Championship, it still didn't make any sense, man. Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble didn't make any sense. Like you could have easily gave him another way. You could have gave him another way to get to WrestleMania because we all knew he was going to WrestleMania. But yeah, man, day one he won the WWE Championship. Didn't have a problem with that. But he ended up losing it. He ended up losing it to Lashley, and then at the Royal Rumble. He lost it to Lashley at the Royal Rumble, and then he ended up competing in the Royal Rumble match, and he won the Royal Rumble match. He won the Royal Rumble, and he chose Roman Reigns, and then he wanted a rematch for the WWE Championship by going into the Elimination Chamber match. Like, dude, you already gone to WrestleMania, so what you complaining about? I don't know, man. But yeah, you could have easily you could have easily gave the Royal Rumble to somebody else. You could have gave it to somebody else. Brock would have still went to WrestleMania anyways. You could have had him compete in the chamber. Lashley didn't need to be in that chamber anyway. I was like, man, I said this from the start, man. Lashley did not need to be in that chamber. He didn't have to. The chamber should have been set to a way for a number one contenders match, just like how the women's match was set up. Just like how the women's match was set up. The winner of that chamber match will be the number one contender for the championship. This is how this should have been. But yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it with the Elimination Chamber match. The chamber match, the men's chamber match was the best thing. It was the best thing on the show. The best thing on the show. But this entire show, man, was a waste of time, man. It was a waste of time. But yeah, a waste of time, and it was boring. It was boring too, man. Boring. But yeah, man. And yeah, I said this earlier, and I said this in the prediction video. The men's chamber match was the only thing that I cared about, and the only thing that I was looking forward to on the show. But yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it. That was it with the Elimination Chamber. And as I'm recording this, Impact Wrestling No Surrender hasn't started yet, or it hasn't happened yet. So yeah, so this is the first half of the Ryan Awesome Show, and the second half of the Ryan Awesome Show will be the review for No Surrender, Impact Wrestling No Surrender. So yeah, so as I'm recording this right now, Impact Wrestling No Surrender hasn't started yet. But in the second half, Impact Wrestling No Surrender has already happened. But yeah, man, I'll see you guys for Impact Wrestling No Surrender. Or I'll see you right now, man. I'll see you right now for Impact Wrestling No Surrender. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the Impact Wrestling review. Impact Wrestling No Surrender review right now. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the Impact Wrestling No Surrender 2022 review, as I'm speaking right now, this second half of the Ryan Awesome Show is being recorded at 7:55 p.m. man, 7:55 p.m. on a Sunday evening. Now, the reason why, man, the first half of the Ryan Awesome Show was recorded on Saturday morning, right after the Elimination Chamber was over. And the reason why, man, because right after the Elimination Chamber, right after the Chamber match, not the Chamber match, right after the pay-per-view for the Elimination Chamber, something told me to go to sleep, man. Something told me to go to sleep because I was working all day that day on that Saturday morning. I was working early in the morning, got off at like 8 or 9 o'clock. and I sat down, watched the Elimination Chamber, recorded did my recording and all that stuff. And something told me to just go to sleep, man. And I wasn't. I don't know what it was. I wasn't even tired, man. I wasn't even tired. I thought I could stay awake until 7 p.m. that day, but I didn't, man. I couldn't. And so right when 6:50 p.m. hit, I was tired. I was feeling tired, and I said to myself, man, I need to lay down. I need to lay down. And so I laid down, went to sleep. I tried to set my alarm because I knew I was about to fall asleep, and so I set my alarm to like I want to say 6:55. I was gonna give myself like a 5 minute nap. That obviously didn't work. So I set my alarm, and I woke up, went back to sleep, and then woke back up again. It was 7:30, and so I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm about to watch this because I'm tired. And so I went back to sleep, woke back up. It was 12 o'clock in the morning. It was 12 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my god. I was like, man, I was asleep for that long. I was asleep for that long, man. So yeah, so that's why you see me in a different shirt because I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. And yeah, man. Yep. Yep. I was tired, man. I was tired, and that was the longest nap I ever taken, man. The longest nap I ever taken. But yeah, man. But yep, I'm here, man. I'm here today. I'm here today, and I did watch Impact Wrestling No Surrender 2022, and it was a really good show, man. It was a really, really good show, man. I enjoyed that opening match, dude. I enjoyed the opening match, the Fatal 4-Way match, for the number one contenders for the X Division Championship. And I enjoyed that Impact World Championship match with Moose and W. Morrissey. I thought that was a really good match. And the main event, man, the main event, I enjoyed Team Honor. Team Honor. I enjoyed Honor No More versus Team Impact in the main event. And so yeah, man, that was probably the best thing on this show, man. Best thing on the show. But those were my three matches that I enjoyed on the show. Not saying that everything else was bad. Everything else was good, but it was not as good as the main event and the World Championship match, Impact World Championship match, and the opening match with that Fatal 4-Way. But yeah, those were my top three matches on the show: Fatal 4-Way match, Impact World Championship match, and Team Impact versus Honor No More. So yeah, those were the best things on the show. And also on the show, on Impact Wrestling No Surrender, we also had two heel turns. We had heel turns that happened that night on No Surrender. Two heel turns. Two shocking heel turns, man. One from Jay White and Eddie Edwards. So these two turned heel. These two turned heel on Impact Wrestling No Surrender. Well, Jay White, he's already a heel. He's already a heel. What he is, a healer, a more heel. But he turned heel. He was already a heel, but I guess he became healer. But yeah, he turned on his God brothers. He turned on Tama Tonga. He turned on Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa in that Impact World Tag Team Championship match. So that was very shocking. And also Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards, he turned his back on Team Impact. Turned his back on Team Impact, and he aligned himself with Honor No More. So that was the shocking heel turn the most. Eddie Edwards, he shocked me the most though with that heel turn, man. But I loved it, man. I loved it. The heel turn and him aligning himself with Honor No More, man. That was the best thing, bro. I loved it, man. I loved it. But yeah, man, and honestly, man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what's next with Eddie Edwards and Honor No More because Honor No More won the match, which means they can stay in Impact Wrestling. So yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for it, man. I cannot wait what's next with these guys, and I can't wait for that explanation on why Eddie, why did you turn on your Impact, your family? Why did you turn on your family? So yeah, I wanna know, man. But yeah, this is really great, man. This is a good show. Unlike the Elimination Chamber, you heard me you heard me talked about in the first half. You heard me talk about how I didn't care about the Elimination Chamber, but this match, I mean this show right here, this was a far better show than the Elimination Chamber. So yeah, so No Surrender, they were live in New Orleans, Louisiana. So this is my home state of Louisiana. And I'm not from New Orleans. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So that's about an hour and 25-minute drive for me. So it's right around the corner from where I am. So yeah, man. So yeah, I wish I would have went. I wish I would have went, but I couldn't go. But yeah, man. But yep. But we started off the No Surrender. We started off Impact Wrestling No Surrender with the Fatal 4-Way match, number one contenders match. So whoever won this match would be the number one contender for Trey Miguel's X Division Championship. So we had Chris Bay versus Ace Austin with Madman Fulton in his corner versus Jake something versus Speedball Mike Bailey. So yeah, man. So we had kicks to Jake from Bailey, and we had a Thez press to Bailey from Jake, and then Jake he had suplex Bailey over the top rope on everybody that was outside the ring, and so the crowd at that point they started chanting that was something. So that I thought that was funny, because his last name is something. But yeah, man. And so we had a over the top rope tope from Jake on everybody. And so yeah, we had a double stomp to Jake from Austin and he kicked out. And so yeah, at that point everybody was all over the place, dude, hitting a series of moves to each other. And so yeah, we had a tope con hero to Bailey from Bay, but Bay he had overshot it, man, and he landed on that floor, man. And so yeah, we had a top rope moonsault from Bailey on everybody that was outside of the ring. And so the crowd started chanting Speedball for Mike Bailey because his nickname is the Speedball. Speedball Mike Bailey. And so yeah, we had a spike Rana to Jake from Bay and he kicked out. And then we had a diving splash to Austin from Bay and then Bailey had broke up the pin. And so Chris Bay he had his finishing move, the Art of Finesse to Bailey. And so Austin he had broke up the pin. And so we had Jake something hit his black hole slam or into the void, his finishing move into the void to Austin from Jake to win the match. So therefore Jake something wins and is the #1 contender for the X Division Championship. So yeah, man, really good match, man, really good match. And Jake versus Trey Miguel for the X Division Championship match should be a really, really competitive match, dude. Because the last time Jake competed for that X Division Championship, he fought against Josh Alexander when Josh Alexander was the X Division champion, and they had a one hell of a freaking match, dude. That was one of the best matches, dude, that year, man. But so I don't know, man. Will Jake win the championship? Will he win the championship? Because he's far deserving of a title, man. And he's been consistent too with wins and all that stuff. He has the potential. He has the potential to be a champion, man. But yeah, man. But if Trey Miguel can somehow get that win over Jake something, it'll be a huge win, a bigger win. Because he beat Steve Macklin, and for him to beat Jake something, it'll make him a better champion too. And Trey Miguel, he's been a great champion, a great X Division champion. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Eric Young, a vignette from Eric Young. He had spoke about his match against Jay White tonight or later that night. So yeah, I'm reading this off of Cage Side Seats. So shout out to Cage Side Seats. So yeah, so Eric Young, he has said that he earned everything in his business. He's not a kiss ass political player. He's not a football athlete who stumbled on his career. And so he said he's not a skinny indie dude. And Young, he has said he's a professional wrestler. And so Young, he has said when you truly love something, you're willing to die for it. And so yeah, and so Young, he has said that we'll find out how far Jay White is willing to go. And so yeah, so that was pretty much it from Eric Young. And so yeah, so right after this, we had a match, and it was Jonah versus Black Taurus. So this was a beefy match. So yeah, man. So both of these guys, they try to out muscle each other. They try to outpower each other. We had a tope con hero to Jonah, and a tope tornado to Jonah. And so yeah, man. So Jonah at one point he started throwing Black Taurus around, and Black Taurus is not a small dude. He is not a small dude. And so yeah, so Taurus he started fighting back. He had a crucifix bomb to Jonah, which was explosive too, man. And he kicked out. And so Taurus had hit Jonah with a headbutt. And so Taurus had hit Jonah with a 619, followed up by a twisting senton to Jonah, and he kicked out. And so Jonah Jonah he had threw Taurus. So yeah, so they were both fighting at the top rope. They both were on the top rope and they were fighting each other. And so Jonah he had Taurus in a fireman's carry position while he was on the top rope, and he just threw him. He just threw him off of him, and he landed across the ring. And so yeah, man. So we had a Thez press off of the top rope to Taurus, and we had a power bomb to Taurus, and he kicked out. And so to end the match, man, we had Jonah. He had his finishing move, the tsunami, to Taurus to win the match. So yeah, ouch. I would not want to take a tsunami from Jonah, man. Would not. So yeah, so therefore Jonah wins the match, and that was it, man. And that was it, man. After this, man, I will send Jonah after the X Division Championship. Send him after the X Division Championship and have him go up against Trey Miguel. Right after Jake, right after he's done with Jake. And I'll probably put the title on Jonah. I'll probably put the title on him. But yeah, that was it with that, man. That was it. And so yeah, so right after that we had a backstage interview. Gia Miller, she interviews Jake something, the number one contender for the X Division Championship. So yeah, so this time I'm reading this off of Ringside News. So shout out to Ringside News too. So yeah, so Jake he has said that he beat 3 of the X Division's finest, and so Jake he has said that he's the best he has ever been, and so he said he can't wait to beat Trey Miguel. And so Trey Miguel came in, he interrupted, and he said that he had no intentions of losing his title belt. And then Ace Austin he had interrupted, and Madman Fulton came in too, and Ace Austin he had mocked Trey Miguel for not having any friends, and so yeah, man, and so yep, and Ace Austin he was also talking about Jake too, called him a loser and all that stuff. If it was a one-on-one match, you're a loser. And so yeah, so they set up a tag team match for Impact Wrestling this coming Thursday. So it's gonna be Jake and Trey Miguel versus Ace Austin and a partner of his choice. And so yeah, so that was it. And that was it with that. And so yeah, man. So right after that, we had Eric Young versus Jay White. So 2 leaders going at it. Eric Young, the leader of Violent by Design, versus Jay White, the leader of the Bullet Club. And so yeah, man. So Eric Young, when he came out to his entrance, he was wearing a devil's mask, and it looked cool too, man. But yeah, man. So he came out with a devil's mask, and so yeah, so we started off the match. Both of these guys they were going back and forth with shoulder tackles. And so yeah, and so we had chops to Young, and then we had a DDT to Young, and then Young hit a DDT to White, and so we had a Death Valley driver to White, which was beautiful too, man. And he kicked out, and so both of these guys they're going back and forth with chops, and so at one point Eric Young he bit White, a diving elbow drop to White, and he kicked out, and then we had a Uranagi to Young, and he kicked out, and we had a Saito suplex to Young, and then we had a flatliner to Young on the ring apron, and we had a power driver to White on the ring apron, which had to hurt, man. And so yeah, so Young he tried to use the ropes as extra leverage for a pinfall, but White still kicked out. And so yeah, so both of these guys they were both trying to reverse each other's finishing moves. And so to end the match, we had Jay White hit his finishing move, the Blade Runner, to Young to win the match, which was wicked too, man. That Blade Runner was wicked. Absolutely, he absolutely spiked Eric Young with that Blade Runner to win the match. So therefore, Jay White wins the match. And that was it, man. Great match, dude. Great match, great back and forth, and the right person did win this match, Jay White. And so yeah, so right after that, we had Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, and Mike Bailey. They were backstage. So Mike Bailey, he was getting ready to leave. He was getting ready to leave, and Ace Austin and Madman Fulton had stopped him. So yeah, Austin he had asked Jay White, not Jay White, he asked Speedball Mike Bailey to be his tag team partner. And so Bailey he said that he doesn't want to be in a tag team and all that stuff. Austin has said that, he overheard Trey Miguel said that he doesn't respect him, that Trey Miguel didn't respect Mike Bailey and all that stuff. Austin basically saying that, you know, in Impact Wrestling you need a partnership. You need a partnership in a place like this. And so, and so Austin they said that, come on, just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. And so, yeah, Mike Bailey he accepted and he shook Ace Austin's hand. And so that was it with that. And so yeah, so we have a tag team match. So it's gonna be, of course, Jake Something and Trey Miguel versus Ace Austin and now Speedball Mike Bailey. And so that was pretty much it with that. So right after that, man, we had a championship match. It was the Champ Champ Challenge. So yeah, so it was Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Reina de Reina champion and the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Deonna Purrazzo versus Miranda Alizé. I think it was Alizé. They pronounced it as Alizé. It's spelled Elise, but they pronounced it Alizé. So yeah, so it's the Champ Champ Challenge. So Deonna Purrazzo's opponent get to choose which championship they want to fight for, and so Miranda had chose. So Deonna Purrazzo held up both of the titles, and so Miranda just pointed at the ROH Women's Championship, and so now it's for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And so I think Miranda, I believe she did came from Ring of Honor, so that's why she chose the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And so yeah, both were going back and forth, and then yeah, Elise Alizé, she almost took her own head off of a tope to Purrazzo, a tope suicida. And so yeah, we had a pump kick to Alizé from Purrazzo, so Purrazzo finally took control of the match. And yeah, because Alizé she had gotten some offense in early in the match. And so yeah, we had a Hurricane around a face buster to Perazo, and so both were going back and forth with running strikes. And then we had a running corner boot to Perazo, and she kicked out. And so Alizé, she had locked in her finishing move. She went for the Miranda rights. Interesting name for a finishing move. The Miranda rights to Perazo, and then Perazo had fought out of it. And so yeah, so Perazo or yeah, Alizé, she tried to go for the Shining Wizard, but Perazo had moved out of the way, and so she had locked in her finishing move, the submission move, the Venus de Milo submission hold. And so yeah, before she even got the Venus de Milo locked in, Alizé tapped out. And so yeah, and so Deonna Purrazzo wins the match and is still the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion and still champ. So yeah, so that was pretty much it with that. Deonna Purrazzo is still the champ. Hopefully we do see more of the champ challenge. So yeah, man, so that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She interviews Chapel Hart. So Chapel Hart, they sung the American anthem earlier in the show. Gia Miller interviewed Chapel Hart. And so yeah, they said that they got Mickie James's back. And so Chelsea Green had came in and she wanted to wish Mickie James good luck. Chelsea Green had told Mickie James, "You probably don't need any luck." Mickie James had said that luck is for losers and all that stuff. And so yeah, and then so Mickie James, she had said that when she wins the match, she's gonna give Chelsea Green a title shot, a title shot that she truly deserved because it got interrupted by Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. So yeah, so she's gonna give her a fair rematch. And so yeah, so that was pretty much it with that. And so yeah, man. So right after that, we had the Digital Media Championship match, and it was Jordan Grace versus Matt Cardona. Always ready, Matt Cardona, who is the Digital Media Champion and also the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, he's defending his Digital Media Championship tonight, or he defended his championship on Saturday. So yeah, so Grace had went right after Cardona, and so at one point we had Jordan Grace. She had muscled up Matt Cardona for a suplex, and then Cardona he walked away, and then Grace had brought him back into the ring, and then at one point Cardona had pulled the referee in away, and so Cardona had slammed Grace's head into the turnbuckle, and so yeah, and then Cardona had suplexed Grace into the corner, and so Grace she started to fight back. She had a spine buster to Cardona, he kicked out, and then Cardona hit a missile drop kick to Grace, followed up by the reboot, which was brutal, man. He squared her right in the face with that reboot, man. And then he hit her again with the reboot, caught her in the face again. And so yeah, we had a running corner elbow to Cardona, and then Cardona at one point tried to use the steel chair, but Jordan Grace had ran at him and kicked the chair right in his face. And so yeah, man. And so Grace had got the chair. So Grace went to go get the chair. She brought it in the ring, and then the referee had took the chair away from her. And so Cardona had grabbed the chair, and so Grace had low blowed Matt Cardona for the disqualification. So Jordan Grace got disqualified. So therefore, Matt Cardona wins by disqualification and is still the digital media champion. And so yeah, so right after the match, we had Jordan Grace. She had hit Cardona with the chair, and so Cardona he had left the ring with his championship. He left the ring with his championship, and that was pretty much it. And so yeah, man. So Cardona, of course, man, the digital media champion. With him being a champion, man, it brings more prestige to the title. It brings more prestige to the title, and it brings the title on the main show because it's usually on a BTI show. And you know, with Matt Cardona as the champion, it brings more relevancy. You know, because it's Matt Cardona, and you know he's the founding father. He's one of the founding fathers, or he is the founding father of the Internet Championship. You know, the first ever Internet champion. You know, you know the story. You know the story of Zack Ryder and Z True Long Island story. I watched it every single week, man, religiously. I watched it every single week. And yeah, man. So yeah, truly the founding father of the Internet Champions. So yeah, man, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She interviews Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans in her corner. And so yeah, so Tasha Steelz she was backstage. So I'm reading this off of Cage Side Seats. So once again, shout out to Cage Side Seats. So yeah, so Tasha Steelz she has said that she's confident that she will win the Knockouts Championship, and she said that she's gonna beat Mickie James tonight. And so yeah, so the interview got interrupted by somebody yelling for help, and the cameras went to the person that was yelling for help, and it was Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards, he was on the floor, knocked out on the floor. And so yeah, man. So we also heard that Eddie Edwards he was taken out. He was taken out of the Impact Team Impact because he was supposed to fight on Team Impact against I don't know more. So he ended up getting taken out. And so yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had the Impact World Tag Team Championship match, and it was the Gorillas of Destiny or God, whatever you want to call them. That's Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa versus the Good Brothers. So that's Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions. So yeah, so both of these guys, both of these teams, they were going back and forth, and then God had to control the match for a bit, and then the Good Brothers took back control of the match. We had a hot tag to Tangaloa. He took out the Good Brothers, and we had a hip toss turn into a neck breaker to Anderson from Tangaloa. And so we had a double neck breaker to Anderson from God, and then Gallows had broke up the pin, and then the Good Brothers tried to go for the Magic Killer on Tama Tonga, and but Tangaloa broke up the pin, and we had a spine buster to Tangaloa from Anderson, and then we had a gun stun to Anderson from Tama Tonga, and then we had the Death Valley driver to Anderson from Tama Tonga, followed up by a diving splash to Anderson, and he kicked out. And so yeah, man. So we had Chris Bay, another member of the Bullet Club, came out, and he distracted the referee. He distracted the referee, and so God they were wondering like, hey, like Chris, what are you doing? What are you doing out here? Like they were wondering like why was he out there? And so yeah, so Gallows had chokeslammed Tangaloa on the floor outside the ring, and so Jay White he had showed up in the ring right behind Tamatonga. So Jay White had hit Tamatonga with the Blade Runner, hit him with the Blade Runner, so right behind the referee's back. And so yeah, man, so it was a heel turn, a betrayal. So he betrayed his brothers. And so yeah, man, so we had to end the match, man. We had a Magic Killer. We had a Magic Killer to Tamatonga from the Good Brothers to win the match. So the Good Brothers wins the match and are still the Impact World Tag Team Champions. And so yeah, so right after the match, Jay White, Chris Bay, and the Good Brothers they gave each other the too sweet. And yeah, man, that was it. That was it with that. I was like, what? I was shocked, man. I thought God was definitely winning those Impact World Tag Team Championships. And yeah, I did not expect Jay White to turn on the God. Did not expect that. But yeah, that was absolutely shocking, man. Absolutely shocking. And so it looked like the Good Brothers are back in the Bullet Club. It looked like they're back in the Bullet Club. It looks like. But yeah, that was it, man. That was it with that. So that was definitely shocking, man. You know, it wasn't the only shocking thing on the show, but this was definitely shocking. But yeah, man. So that was it with that. And so right after that, we had the Impact Knockouts World Championship match, and it was Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans in her corner versus Mickie James, who is the Impact Knockouts World Champion. And so yeah, man. So we had Chapel Hartdale ringside cheering on Mickie James, and so we had a running boot to Steelz, and she kicked out. And we had a drop kick to James to knock her out of the ring, and then Steelz had took control of the match. We had a neckbreaker to Steelz on the floor, and then Savannah Evans she got involved in the match too. She had took out Mickie James outside the ring behind the referee's back, of course. And so yeah, so Tasha Steelz hit a pump kick to James, and she kicked out. And so James she started to fight back, hit a flapjack to Steelz, and she hit a diving death press to Steelz, and she kicked out. And so yeah, man. So Savannah Evans she got on the ring apron again, but James had took her out with a mid kick. And so Tasha Steelz had hit a cutter to Mickie James, and so Chelsea Green had came out to the ring, and she took out Savannah Evans. And so at that point, Mickie James and Tasha Steelz they were both reversing each other's finishing moves. And so yeah, man. And so Mickie James tried to go for the O'Connor roll on Steelz, but Steelz had knocked Green off of the ring apron, and so Mickie James ended up hitting the O'Connor roll to Steelz to win the match. So therefore, Mickie James wins the match and is still the Impact Knockouts World Champion. And so that was pretty much it. And so yeah, and so now Mickie James will be defending her championship against Chelsea Green. So yeah, so that match is definitely getting interrupted again by Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. But yeah, man, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a backstage interview from so Gia Miller she interviews Chris Sabin, Rhino, and Steve Macklin of Team Impact. At first we had audio issues. I don't know if y'all were dealing with the same thing, but I was having audio issues. I couldn't hear, but we finally got the audio to work. And so yeah, man. So Team Impact they questioned if Steve Macklin was it Steve Macklin that attacked Eddie Edwards because from the start Steve Macklin is a guy that couldn't be trusted in Team Impact. And so yeah, so they asked if it was Steve Maclin that attacked him. And so yeah, man. And Steve Maclin, of course, he denied it. And so yeah, man. So Rich Swann, he had came in, he had broke the news that Eddie Edwards is out of Team Impact, and a person that's gonna be replaced was Willie Mack. So Willie Mack had walked in. So really, Willie Mack is the replacement for Eddie Edwards. And so yeah, so that was pretty much it with that. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had the Impact World Championship match, and we had W Morrissey versus Moose. Moose, who is the Impact World Champion. And so yeah, so Brian Myers, he was on commentary, the most professional wrestler. Brian Myers was on commentary. So yeah, this is a really good match, dude. Great match, dude. I enjoyed this match. So yeah, so both of these guys, they were going back and forth with strikes, and then they try to outpower each other. Oh yeah, another thing I said, the Black Taurus and Jonah was a beefy match. This is a beefy match too. but yeah, so Moose had hit two spears to Morrissey, and so Morrissey had rolled out of the ring, and so yeah, man, so we had the spear. So yeah, so Moose tried to go for the spear again, but Morrissey leapfrog over Moose, and he gave Moose a big boot. And so yeah, so at one point, dude, we had W Morrissey. He tried to go for his finishing move, the BQE. And so yeah, so Morrissey, he couldn't even get him up. He couldn't even muscle him up. And so he almost dropped Moose on his neck. And so he ended up hitting the BQE to Moose. And so yeah, so both of these guys, they were fighting outside the ring at that point. And so Morrissey, he had threw Moose into the guardrail, almost knocked it over. And so yeah, man, so Moose had hit a Uranage to Morrissey through the timekeeper's table. So the table was broken. And so we had a big boot to Moose. And then we had a BQE to Moose on a ring apron. I wonder what BQE. I wonder what that stands for. BQE. But yeah, he had the BQE, the Moose on the ring apron, and so Morrissey, he had dropped the F bomb on Fight TV. They did not bleep it out. So Morrissey went for the BQE on Moose, but Moose had Hurricanrana himself out of it. Yeah, that was really impressive, man. A guy his size, man, Moose, a big guy hitting a Hurricanrana, man, really impressive, dude. And so yeah, so Moose had hit a corner drop kick to Morrissey, and so both of these guys, they were trading chops. He had a clothesline to Moose, and then both of these guys, they landed right on top of each other. And so yeah, so Morrissey, or Moose rather, Moose had speared Morrissey, and he went for the cover. And then Morrissey's arm was under the rope. And so yeah, so we had a BQE to Moose, and Morrissey went for the cover. Moose foot was under the rope. It was under the bottom rope. And so yeah, so this was nice right here, man. Moose, he got up, ran to the corner of the ropes, ran to the corner of the ring, jumped in the middle of the ring to the top rope, and he gave Morrissey a superplex, man. Really nice, man. Like this dude jumped from in the ring to the top rope, doing cruiserweight stuff, Really, really agile for his size too. That's the reason why he's the world champion, man. That's the reason why he's the world champion. He is simply the best. Right after that superplex, man, Moose, he had kipped up. Morrissey tried to go for the big boot, but Moose had speared him. So Moose had speared Morrissey to win the match. So therefore, Moose wins the match and is still the Impact World Champion. And that was it, man. That was it. Great match, dude. I enjoyed this match. And Moose retains his championship as he should, man. Nobody on this roster is beating him, man. Not one person on this roster is beating Moose. But yeah, man, the question is, what's next? Who's next for Moose? Who's next? Who's the next challenger? I don't know, man. But yeah, that was it, man. That was it. Really great match, dude. And so yeah, right after this was the main event. And it was a 5-man or a 10-man tag team match. So it was not an elimination match. It's a regular 10-man match. And so yeah, so we had Honor No More. That's Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, Vincent, and Kenny King with Maria Kanellis Bennett in their corner versus Team Impact. So we had Rhino, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Steve Maclin, and Chris Sabin. And so yeah, man. So yeah, this match was chaotic, very chaotic. So yeah, both of these teams, they went right after each other before the match could even start. So the match didn't even start at that point. And so finally we got back into the ring. Bennett and Maclin, they start off the match. They both were trading chops. Steve Maclin's chest was red, beet red. And so yeah, so Sabin and Taven, they were going back and forth. And then we had a spinning leg lariat to Swann from Taven. And then PCO went right after Swann's leg at one point. And then PCO and Rhino, they were face to face. and they were both trading chops. We had a spinning heel kick to Mac from King, and then Mac started fighting back. And we had an Irish curse backbreaker to King from Macklin. And we had a double team move to King from Sabin and Macklin. And then we had a Death Valley driver to Sabin from Bennett. And then a Tornado DDT to Bennett from Sabin. He had a hot tag to Swan. He took out Taven and the rest of Honor No More. And then Honor No More, they caught Swan outside of the ring. So Swan trying to go for a high flying move outside of the ring, but Honor No More had caught him. And so they held on to him. And then Vincent, he had hit a diving stomp onto Swan, knocking him down. And so, yeah, we had a spine buster to Swan from King, and he kicked out. And then we had a brain buster to Swan from Bennett. And then Sabin, he had broke up the pin. And so we had a Blue Thunder Bomb to Swan from Taven, which was beautiful, man. The best looking Blue Thunder Bomb I ever saw, man. And then Mac, he had broke up the pin. And so we had a running flatliner to Swan from Vincent. And then Sabin, he had broke up the pin. And we had a DDT to Swan from PCO, and he kicked out. And then PCO, man, he tried to take out Swan by giving a diving move or a tope move. But he took a nasty fall outside the ring, man. And so, yeah, we had a hot tag to Mac. He took out Honor No More. And so we had a cannonball to PCO from Mac. And we had a double team move to Bennett from Mac and Swan. But Taven, he had broke up the pin. And then we had a proton pack to Mac from Taven and Bennett. And then Sabin, he had broke up the pin. And then we had a caught in the crosshair. So Macklin had hit one of his signature moves, the caught in the crosshairs to Vincent from Macklin. And so we had a choke slam to Macklin from PCO. And we had a series of moves to Macklin from I Don't Know More. And then at one point we had King. He had sent Macklin into the referee. So the referee is knocked out. And then King, he had took out Macklin. And then Sabin had took out King. And so everybody at that point, they were all over the place, man, hitting each other with their moves. And so we had a spear to Mac from Bennett on a ring apron. And then a senton bomb to Mac. A senton bomb to Mac and Swan from PCO on a ring apron. So that was nasty, bro. Painful, dude. And so, yeah, so Vincent had hit the red room to Mac and Swan outside of the ring to knock him off of the ring apron. And so, yeah, so everybody was fighting outside of the ring. Everybody was going at it, dude. No control. Referee was knocked out and all that stuff. And so PCO, he went to the top rope, hit a freaking moonsault, bro. Hit a moonsault outside the ring on everybody. And dude, man, that dude, that was cool, man. That was freaking impressive, dude. Like this dude is in his, I don't know how old he is. He probably in his mid-50s. Yeah, if I had to guess, he's probably in his mid-50s. Dude is in his 50s hitting freaking moonsaults, man. Freaking impressive, dude. And then so, yeah, so right after that, man, we had Rhino. He tried to go for the gore on Bennett, but Maria had stepped in the way. And so we had Eddie Edwards. So we had Eddie Edwards that came out. And so he chased off. He chased off Honor No More. So he chased off Taven and Bennett. So they both got out of the ring. And so he grabbed Maria. Yeah, grabbed her by her hair. Or he grabbed her by her arm or something like that. Either the hair or arm, but he still grabbed her. But he grabbed Maria. And so, yeah, so Eddie Edwards, he had motioned Rhino to do the spear. Like, do the spear, do the spear. And so, yeah, so of course, yeah, Eddie Edwards, he also came out with his kendo stick. So he had his kendo stick too. So, yeah, so he held on to Maria. And then Eddie Edwards had motioned Rhino to hit the spear or the gore. Motioned him to hit the gore. And so, yeah, but as Rhino went for the gore, Eddie Edwards had hit Rhino with the kendo stick. So he blasted Rhino with the kendo stick. And so the crowd was shocked. And so it was a heel turn. And so Eddie, he attacked Team Impact. He had everybody with the kendo stick. He had Swan, Macklin, and everybody else, man. Everybody else that was on Team Impact. He blasted them with that kendo, man, with that kendo stick. And so, yeah, man. So Eddie Edwards, he went outside the ring, woke up the referee. He brought him in the ring. And so, yeah, so Kenny King had pinned Rhino for the win. So therefore, Honor No More wins the match and will stay in Impact Wrestling. So the stipulation of that match is if Honor No More lose the match, they leave Impact Wrestling. But if Honor No More wins the match, they get to stay in Impact Wrestling. So Honor No More wins the match and will stay in Impact Wrestling. And so, yeah, man, a shocking heel turn, man. Shocking. This is one of the most shocking things on this show. The shocking things on this show. Like, dude, Eddie Edwards was the last person. He was the last person I would have expected to turn heel. Like, this dude is the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling. He turned his back on his brothers, turned his back on his family, and aligned himself with Honor No More. that took I don't know more a group that's taken over Impact Wrestling. And so yeah, so we finally knew who took out Jonathan Gresham. It was Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards had took out Jonathan Gresham. He took out Jonathan Gresham, and yeah, and he faked his own injury. He faked his own injury. So yeah, man. So it was Eddie, and so everybody was wondering why Eddie, why did you do it? Why Eddie, why? And so yeah, man. And then right after the match, he took off a patch. He had an Impact patch on his jacket, and so he took it off and just threw it to the side. And so yeah, man. Wow, man. So yeah, this is the best thing on the show. The best thing on this show, man. And yeah, the right team did win this match. The right team did win this match. I don't know more won this match as they should, and they get to stay in Impact Wrestling, which is the right move, man. The right move. When you have a new group coming in, you always want to make them look strong. So that's why they won this match. And I don't know more. I don't know more been the best part of Impact Wrestling these past weeks. Ever since they got in here on Impact Wrestling, they've been the best part of Impact Wrestling. And they're the reason why their ratings went up too, man. They're the reason why the ratings went up for Impact Wrestling too. So yeah, rightfully so they get to stay. Rightfully so. And so yeah, man. Eddie Edwards aligning himself. So Eddie Edwards turned heel and aligned himself with I don't know more. Dude, yes. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to see what's next with this. And an explanation, dude. I want to hear the explanation. But yeah, man. Oh, yes. Absolutely shocking, bro. Absolutely shocking. Yeah, with Eddie Edwards, man, I don't know what was already a strong group, but since they added Eddie Edwards, it became even more stronger with Eddie Edwards added now. So now they got 6 people. They have 7 people now. 7 people. So you have Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, Vincent, Kenny King, Eddie Edwards, and Maria Kanellis as 7 people. 7 people in a group, bro. Yes, they are the biggest threat now, man. Violent by Design was a threat. In Impact Wrestling, they were a threat, and then the Bullet Club came in, and now we have I don't know more, man. They are the biggest threat, man. The biggest threat. They were already a threat, but now, man, with Eddie Edwards on their side, they became an even more bigger threat. And yeah, man, I want to see a heel Eddie Edwards. I want to know what a heel Eddie Edwards like. I never seen him as a heel. Never seen him as a heel, but I want to see what it's like. But yeah, man. Oh yes. Man, the crowd reaction, dude. Oh my God, when Eddie Edwards come out as a heel, yes. Oh, but yeah, man, that was it, bro. That was it with Impact Wrestling No Surrender, man. Really good show, man. This show was far more better than Elimination Chamber. Far more better than Elimination Chamber. Fatal 4-Way match was really good. Enjoyed the Impact World Championship match with Moose and W Morrissey, and of course I enjoyed that main event, bro. I don't know more versus Team Impact. And so yeah, this match rightfully so deserved to be in the main event. Rightfully so deserved to be in the main event. But yeah, man, that was it with Impact Wrestling No Surrender, man. Impact Wrestling No Surrender. And yeah, man, if you like this video, or if you like these videos, if you like the Elimination Chamber review and the Impact Wrestling No Surrender review, 2022, hit the thumbs up, man. What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new around here, or if you're watching Knee Ryan Awesome Show for the first time ever, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded, because I am here each and every single week, man. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man. And I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. But yeah, I will mainly see you guys on Wednesday. I'll mainly see you guys on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite and so forth and so on. And yeah, man. And once again, guys, if you missed anything, man, everything is on the homepage. And yeah, man. And I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. And once again, guys, thank you for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And comment down below, man. Tell me how you felt about the Elimination Chamber and Impact Wrestling No Surrender. And yeah, man. And share this video, man. Share this video with each and every single person that you come across. And yeah, man. And yeah, and this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.